Ladies, gents, good morning. 23rd of March 2020, Monday morning. Good morning from Europe. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, guys. Uh, well, looks like market is open. I wasn't that sure on Friday, but anyway, market is open. So it would be good to go through briefly at the very beginning of the week to see what is going on. I think that focus should be on the US session later today. We do have a G20 conference call, but there are not gonna be any kind of the statement. That's the first thing first. The second thing, there is in US we are going to get the information voting when it comes to the rescue package. So it's gonna be also important if we are going to get in US, of course, what US Secretary of Treasury said. It's going to be like 4 trillion already. So looks like the package get bigger much faster than the outbreak of the virus, because it was at the very beginning, it was at 800 billion, then trillion, then 1.2 trillion, then 2 trillion, and right here, right now, we are talking about the 4 trillion. Well, that's right here, right now, the politicians' game, in my opinion. We are talking, if you are going through all those informations around the world we got, right? Well, I'm not sure what kind of the feeling you have, but my way of thinking, my way of understanding the flow of the info is that, well, the economy is the most important and the single person is not that important, right? Well, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that, but probably I was not supposed to laugh at this, but that's how the real world looks like right here, right now. So the economy is much more important than the single life, single person, and well, that's unfortunately that's how I see on my side. That's how I see the truth here. All those informations from the central banks that they are ready to fight, right? But come on, the money they are printing out of the nothing. That's the first thing. They're gonna to create hyperinflation, in my opinion. That's the second thing. The third thing, the focus is not in the right direction when it comes to those money. All right. But that's something we are going to have to take into the consideration once all the things coronavirus related are going to settle a bit, right? So meaning that once we are going to either have the numbers going down or we have some kind of the vaccine, so then and only then the things related to the coronavirus there is a chance are gonna be settled, and then we are going to see the real life after all. So right here, right now, greed and fear as the key market driver right here, right now, not the data, but we have to have a look what is going on. Tomorrow, PMI day in Europe, PMI day in US, then Wednesday, German IFO index, CPI out of the UK, then Thursday, Bank of England. Well, I'm not sure if there is a need for them to have the meeting. And then US final GDP, and Friday, personal income spending, core PCE out of the US. Not that busy, but of course, again, going back to what's going to be the main driver this week, it's of course the things related to the coronavirus, fear, and then the greed, right? So let's have a look what we have when it comes to the chart. Let's start with euro dollar. Let's start with the weekly chart. The most important thing, we got back to the old consolidation phase some time ago, and since then there is a move to the downside here, right? Now, what I see here as a last level of the hope for the bulls are the low from previous week and the low created right after the open today, right? So that's how I see the things on the weekly chart. Now switch to the daily. With that being said, right, I like from the intraday perspective what happened on Friday, right? So we hit that level we were discussing a second ago based on the weekly, and we saw at least some kind of the profit taking where the end of the day was with positive body. So as long just technical, just chart, right, we have to base on something. So that's the most important. So again, unfortunately, lower exposure, guys, that's the key to survive this market. So as long as the low holds based on the daily close, the higher levels are possible. Now, where we might see the higher levels, what kind of the higher levels we are talking about? Well, I'm not gonna be surprised to see at least retest of 109. And now what is the 109, right? That's 109. So let's place something here, right? And we see that we are talking about the Thursday open, Wednesday close, right? And then again, eventually retest of 110.20, 110.50. Eventually, that's where short might be considered, right? To the downside, right here, right now, we have to get back into the weekly chart. I see the stop count towards 106, then 105.50 and 105, right? So for now, from the risk reward perspective, you know, if you are a seller, right, you wanna see some kind of the bounce medium term, right? From the intraday perspective, as I mentioned, as long as we are above the low, well, I'm going to look from the intraday perspective to try to play a little bit of the long side, taking into the consideration that we are inside this consolidation, all right? So if I'm going to see the tiny pullback towards 106.70, right? So if we are going to take out the low, the early low we've seen hour ago, and we are going to hit that level, I'm going to look for the buying opportunity. And from the intraday perspective, when it comes to the selling, I want to see 1-to-1 break to the upside, and then I want to see higher levels to have the comfort to try to go short, even from the intraday perspective. All right, so that's how I see the things when it comes to the euro dollar. I see cable going lower, but a very similar situation to what we have when it comes to euro dollar. I want to see a little bit higher levels. Now, what kind of the higher levels? Well, we took out on Friday, we took out Thursday high, right? So there is a possibility we are going to create swing high around 118, right? But I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for the distance between Thursday and Friday high right? I want to make the measure of that distance from the Friday high, and I'm getting 121 as a possible supply ahead of the drop base drop here, right? So I have two supply levels, 121 and then the zone between 2250, 2420 as a drop base drop. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about, right? Drop, base, drop, all right? So in that case, we can make the measure of Friday move to the upside, pullback, the same distance should bring us 121 should bring us to this possible supply as well. So that's where I'm looking for a possible supply. Am I a buyer? From the intraday perspective, I may look for the combination of the Thursday Friday low as a possible swing low creation over here. So we are talking about the levels below 115. All right. Well, the volatility is higher, meaning that the moves are bigger, meaning that we are testing right now the most fundamental thing from the trader perspective. We are testing our own patience, right? How long can we wait if there is a FOMO going on, right? Fear of missing out. So that's how I see the two majors when it comes to euro dollar and when it comes to the pound. When it comes to the pound, again, lower levels down below 115 as a buying opportunity, and the first selling opportunity higher towards 121, and then higher 2250, 2420. So that's it. That was my pleasure to make such a juicy update for euro dollar and the cable for you. See you around, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.